everybody, this is Robbie Parker, and I'm going to be doing my review for the 1948 movie Melody Time. So, in the grander edition of Disney's greatest musical classics such as Fantasia, Melody Time features 7 classic stories, each enhanced with high-spirited music and unforgettable characters. This movie is a feast for the eyes and ears and full of wit and charm, and is a classic with something everyone can enjoy. So, the first segment in this movie is called Once Upon a Winter Time and features a couple during the late 19th century, Jenny and Joe. Joe shows off on the ice for Jenny, and near tragedy and timely rescue ensues. And this is intertwined with a rabbit couple as well, and it's a really fun little segment. It's one of my favorite segments of the movie. It's a good way to open the movie and stuff. The song that plays in here that's sung by Frances Langford is really good and everything, and it's just a really awesome little segment. I love like how well done it is. The animation is gorgeous, and I just have always really liked this one. Then the next one is Bumble Boogie, which presents a surrealistic battle for a solitary bumblebee as he tries to ward off visual and musical frenzy. The music is courtesy of Freddie Martin and his orchestra, and is a swing jazz variation of Flight of the Bumblebee, which was one of the many pieces considered for inclusion in Fantasia. And I did like this sequence. It's one of my least favorites, so in the movie, might even be my least favorite and everything. It's not terrible or anything, it just isn't one of my most favorites. The next one is possibly my favorite in the entire movie. I really debate between this one and a couple other ones, but it's a retelling of the story of John Chapman, also known as Johnny Appleseed, and this short is called The Legend of Johnny Appleseed, and it just pretty much follows him roaming the Midwestern United States, mainly Ohio and Indiana, in the pioneer days, where he plants apple trees and gets his nickname. And he also spreads Christianity, and provides voices. Dennis Day narrates and also provides the voice of Johnny Appleseed and his guardian angel. But this segment was really awesome. I've always liked this one. This is really great little short, and probably my favorite out of all of the Disney shorts in the history of Disney shorts. I just love this one. I don't know why. It's just a really good one, and it's one that would never be made today, but I would absolutely love if they actually did this in live action. This is one thing that Disney could do that would be a live action remake that would be freaking awesome, is a Johnny Appleseed movie. Although there is another segment in here that I think would make a good live action movie too. The next one is another one of my favorites, Little Toot, which is based on the Little Picture books, and in this one, a small tugboat in New York City who wants to be like its father Big Toot, but could not seem to stay out of trouble, and he gets into all kinds of trouble and accidentally causes a shipwreck that lands a ship in the middle of Manhattan, and he's banished and stuff, and he finds this ship that's in peril and stuff, and he brings it back and everything, kind of redeems himself at the end of the short. But it's a really nice little short and everything. I love the Little Toot books as a kid. I used to read them all the time because of this movie and everything, and this is another one that I wouldn't mind a live action Little Toot movie and everything, but this isn't really the main other one I was talking about when I was talking about Johnny Appleseed and said that there was another one in here, but I wouldn't mind that on this one. The next one is Trees, which is a recitation of the 1913 poem Trees by Joyce Kilmer, and I'll say this one is pretty good. It's not one of my most favorites. It's another one kind of like the Bumble Boogie that is just okay. There's nothing anything special about it or anything like that. Then the next one is Blame It on the Samba, which features Donald Duck, Jose Carioco, and they meet the Arcunian bird, who introduces them to the pleasures of the samba. The company music is the 1940 polka. Oh, but something. Oh, I cannot pronounce it, so I'm not even going to try. But it's really just okay. It kind of feels like this segment really would have belonged in like Three Caballeros or whatever, but it's okay. The vocals by the Dining Sisters are pretty good, and the visuals and stuff with Ethel Smith appearing in live action with the animation is pretty good, and I feel like it actually ages really well and everything. So like I do think the segment itself is okay, but it's just not one of my favorites. And then you get the big finale, which is the other one that I feel like I've always wanted a movie of, and that's Pecos Bill. I've always been obsessed with the story of Pecos Bill ever since I was a kid, mostly because of this movie and everything. My grandfather was really into Western stuff, and this is a movie that he always really loved and everything. And I always really loved the story of Pecos Bill and everything, and how he was raised by coyotes and became friends with Widowmaker and everything, and he meets a woman named Sue, Slewfoot Sue, who he falls in love with, and she tries to go on a ride on Widowmaker, and he knocks her off, and she goes bouncing up and down until she lands on the moon and stuff, and that's the story of how Pecos Bill and the coyotes, why they howl at the moon and stuff. It's just really, really good story and everything. I've always really loved this one, and I've always wanted a live action one. We did get the Patrick Swayze movie Tall Tale, where he plays Pecos Bill, and he was awesome as Pecos Bill. I would have loved to see him in like a movie adaptation of it, where a direct adaptation and not just like a movie that featured Pecos Bill as one of the antagonists or protagonist characters and everything. But I've always wanted like a full-fledged story and everything, but this short is awesome too and everything. It's 22 minutes long and everything, but it's really awesome. So all of the segments in here I think are really good, but like I said, my main three favorites are Little Toot, Johnny Appleseed, and Pecos Bill. They're all just really, really good and everything, and the animation in here is gorgeous, and I feel like this is the only one out of the package films that I have a lot of love and nostalgia for. Of course, it is really the only one that I grew up with watching a lot as a kid. I did see the other ones as a kid, but this is the one that I used to watch on repeat because it was one of the few that I actually had access to as a kid and everything, because it was, like I said, it was one of my grandpa's favorites, and he liked to get me movies that he liked when he was a kid and stuff. So I just fell in love with Melody Time. I think it's a really, really good movie, and it's one that I feel holds up really well. And also I love, like, in the Pecos Bill segment right before it and stuff, we get to see Roy Rogers and the Sons of Pioneers and stuff and everything. I'm a fan of them too and everything. I love listening to their music and stuff and everything. Like I said, my grandparents, a lot of my taste in music and stuff comes from them and everything, and this movie is no exception. But I really enjoy this one. So anyway, but yeah, so Melody Time is a really good one and everything, and it's a really great movie. So I'm gonna say I'd give it a 9 out of 10 and everything. So anyway, let me know in the comments what you think of Melody Time, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and have a good day, everybody. I just want to say thank you for watching this video and everything. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, please like and subscribe and share this video with your friends and get more people going, help the channel grow. I really appreciate it, and thank you all, and have a good day.